Good morning everyone, welcome to Planespotting here at Manchester Airport. It is Wednesday the 19th of November, it's just gone 8 o'clock and the first plane up today is an Airbus A350. This is an Ethiopian Airlines A350 just coming into land. It's an A350-900 and it is arriving from Geneva. Love the A350. I think it's got a pretty cool design. Bit of a wind shear there as it landed, but safely on the ground, super. So how are you doing? Hope you are all well. Let me know in the comments how you're doing, where it is that you're watching from. I'd like to know where my viewers are in the world. Particular A350 first entered service in 2016, so one of the earlier ones. The A350 has the very distinctive winglets on the tips of the wings. Shares a similar design with the A330neo. And then if we take a look over the other side of the airfield, this one's an EasyJet Airbus A320 that's going to Athens. And off it goes. That particular A350, A320 entered service in August 2018. Right, heading out to the runway then, we've got a Eurowings Airbus A319 that's going to Dusseldorf. This one first flew in 2009. I'll quickly spin away from this one for a second because I want to show you something. Over in the airport, I'll just make an adjustment to my tripod. It's wiggling around, I don't want it to. There we go. Right, normally the A380 Super Jumbo would be, where has it gone? Normally it would be in this area here. However, with the modernisation of the airports, terminal buildings. They have currently moved it over to Terminal 2, so it's much further in. So yeah, just a bit of interesting information there. I just landed then. We've got a KLM Boeing 737-800 which has just arrived from Amsterdam. Where the Eurowings is up to. Right, so it's at the very end of the runway, just doing its turn now to get itself into position. The runways then that are in use, so the planes today are taking off from 05 left and they are landing on 05 right. So then we've just had a plane land. We got some EasyJet, and this one is an Airbus A320 that has arrived from Naples. This one first flew in 2011. Just across, getting itself into position, is the Pilatus PC-24. Then just in front of it is an EasyJet that's leapfrogged it. This EasyJet is an Airbus A320 Neo, new engine option, which is going to Paris. This particular aircraft first flew in 2019. It's the little Pilatus plane. It's operated by Silver Aviation. It's owned by Silver Aviation. It's operated by 24/7 Aviation. And this one's going to London. This little aircraft first flew last year, 2024. And coming up just behind it, we have got another EasyJet about to take off. Whilst we're waiting for this to take off, don't forget to give the video a quick like, that would be fantastic. So if you haven't done already, please do subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that very, very much. Right, so this EasyJet doesn't have its transponder on, so I'm not really able to tell you very much about it, where it's going and stuff. It's an Airbus EasyJet. This one's got the Eurocar livery, which is the green bit at the back. Here we go. Its transponder has just turned on, so that one's going to Dubrovnik. As mentioned, it is an Airbus. It's an Airbus A320neo. First flew excuse me, in 2019. So the wind today, a little bit windy. There's a bit of a breeze coming across, nothing too strong. Weather forecast, it's meant to be overcast with sunny patches throughout the morning, improving into the afternoon. Right, so whilst we're waiting for the next plane, then I'll give you the guided. So in fact, nope, here comes the next plane. Guided talk and wait. Right, so coming into land, we've got an Airbus A220 Swiss. It's coming in from Zurich. This aircraft first flew in 2016. Final now. plane to land after this one is going to be a Ryanair, arriving from Rome. That's going to be a minute or so away. Let's point it then back into the sky. So, zoom to work, there we go. Right, it's this Ryanair. It's actually operated by Malta Air, this one, but it's coming in from Rome. It's Boeing 737 Max 8-200. First flew in 2022. So I was asked a question recently, what's the difference between the Max 8 and the Max 8-200? The answer is the seating plan. On the 200 it's more condensed to fit more bums on seats, whereas the Max 8 is slightly more spacious. As you can see, it's getting blown about a little bit. There's a bit of a wind shear going on down that end. Blown sideways a little bit. But it's down safely, thankfully. And a while ago I was also asked what the difference is between the Max 8-800s and earlier models and the Max. So the easiest way to tell them apart is look at the APU just behind the tail, the pointy out bit, the rear tip of the aircraft. It's the APU, the auxiliary power unit. It's like a third engine. And on the Max 8, in the Max series, it's pointy. On the previous versions, it is slightly shorter, a bit more stubby. Right, this is a TUI Max 8, 737, going to Fuerteventura. There we go, better view. On the back of the plane, that's the APU at the back. On the earlier versions of the Boeing 737, it's much more stubby. I'll see if I can find one, possibly this one. No, it's a Max as well. I'll point one out when I see one next. Right, so the next plane to take off is British Airways. Airbus A320 going to London. London Heathrow. This one first flew in 2014. Right, we have got a Dreamliner heading out, which we'll be picking that up in a minute or two. But first of all, we've got this 737 MAX 8200 Ryanair that is going to Dublin. This aircraft first flew in 2021. The Dreamliner is one of my favourite aircraft. Love the design of it, love the shape of the wings, which have that upward curvature. The noise they make is very unique. They've got a distinct growl about them. Coming into land, we have got an Airbus A350, so I am going to switch over to the A350. The way that I do things is when we have the larger aircraft, they definitely trump the smaller aircraft. This A350, it's an A350-900 Singapore Airlines from Singapore. See him getting all blown about. I was watching a really interesting video about the manufacturing of the A350. I'll try and dig it out and put a link in the video description. It's well worth watching. Absolutely fascinating the way they make these things. Okay, now then, just behind is the Dreamliner, so I shall switch to the Dreamliner. Right, now let's have a bit more A350 action. I'd rather see the side of an A350 rather than the back of a Dreamliner. So do let me know in the comments what your favourite aircraft is. It can be a current aircraft, past aircraft, military, commercial. I'd love to know what your favourite aircraft are. Okay, so the Dreamliner has reached the end of the taxiway. Airways 787 Dreamliner. There can be 3 different sizes, 9 being the second longest. It's going to Doha. This particular aircraft is new this year, first flew in April. It's on the runway, ready to take off. Just landed then is a British Airways. It's a Airbus A319, which is arriving from London Heathrow. It tends to come and go from here at the same kind of time. This one first flew 25 years ago, October of 2000. And on the runway we've got an Aer Lingus A320 going to Dublin. This one first flew in 2005. Okay, now just coming into land, we've got a Boeing 737. Where's it gone? There we go. This is a Ryanair 737-800. Ryanair coming in from Belfast, which first flew in 2009. Okay, so what you just saw there was the reverse thrusters being used. Basically the air brakes. If you look on the engine nacelle, you can see like the vertical black line. That will close in a second. So that's the reverse thrusters, so they need to shave off the speed as they land. Can't come in too hot. So deactivate the reverse thrusters. It slows it down. When the ground is wet like it is today, you get a great show of all the spray being kicked up around the aircraft. Right, over on the other side then we have got an EasyJet which is going to Madrid. It's an Airbus A320, first flew in 2017. In fact, let's look at the back of the APU on this 737. So this is one of the early models, the 800, but on the earlier models the APU is short and stubby. Whereas on the Max series it is pointy. It's the easiest, quickest way to tell the difference between them. Okay, so it's at the very end of the taxiway now. It's just making its turn onto the runway. do is I'll give you the guided tour of the airport. I'll start left from right. So first thing you have over here is this whole area. Just there, this is the airport visitors park, runway visitors park. It's a really cool place. You can take the kids there. So we've got a few planes. One of them is the Avro RJX. 4-engined aircraft. Is actually the last commercial passenger airliner to be made here in the UK completely. As you go across, you can see play park for the kids, picnic area. You've got a hangar. This hangar houses a Concorde, which you can just see the nose of, just above the cafe sign. That's all a cafe. The red and white box is used for giving commentary over the weekends, and then over this way we can see like the wooden fence. It's an elevated area where people can stand and watch the aircraft. A Monarch DC-10 cockpit used for conferences, meetings. And just behind that building there is a couple of other aircraft, or a couple of aircraft. It's a Trident and a Nimrod as well. Moving further across is the engine test bay. They do engine spin tests and other things. Sometimes just park vehicles there if they need the space. Here we've got a Signature Aviation. Where you get all your little private business jets. A couple of maintenance hangars. What can we see inside this one today? What have they got in there? So they've got an aircraft in there, can't see what it is. But they're working on aircraft inside the hangar. There's another one over there. The fire engines, sometimes you see them performing tests and whatnot. And then moving further across, you've got the control tower, the very unique control tower that Manchester has. And then over to the terminals. So left to right, you've got Terminal 2. And then comes Terminal 1, which is being revamped from the end of this month, which is why they're moving other aircraft to the other terminals. There's the old control tower, and then Terminal 3. So construction here first started in the mid-30s, originally called Ringway, later changed its name to just Manchester Airport. So look at the end of the runway, then we've got a little plane coming into land. This one is a Hawker Beechcraft 400 XP. So small I almost didn't see it. I've got no information about it, so I can't really tell you where it's been. Yes, I can't tell you where it's been. It's been from Italy. So back in the day, Manchester Airport used to have a viewing deck. Used to be able to go into the terminals, into the departure lounge areas, and just hang out, look out the windows, plane spot from there, and on the viewing deck. But they got rid of them. And they're tightening security. Heading for the runway, we've got Ryanair. So this Ryanair Boeing 737-800 that's going to Brussels, and it first flew in 2008. So again, a quick look at the APU on the earlier 737s, short and stubby. You used to be able to tell as well by the winglets. These are the split winglets on the Max, but then they started upgrading the older aircraft to have them as well. There are other differences, but the easiest way is just to look at the APU. We should have another Dreamliner arriving soon. Indigo Dreamliner from Mumbai. So we do have a Etihad 777, which should soon be taxiing out towards the runway. before that we've got an Air Transat Airbus A321 Neo long range from going to Toronto. In fact, you can just see that now on the screen. I do like the Air Transat livery. I love the star and the light blue colours. Pretty cool. We should have a Dreamliner departing soon as well. You don't get too many of the smaller planes traversing the Atlantic and going like longer distances, but this particular version is the extended range version. So when you get all the luggage and passengers on board, it uses a lot more fuel. So they tend to use these planes for the shorter regional journeys. So it is nice to see them having the long range version coming here as well. On approach we've got an ATR 72-600 Aer Lingus from Belfast. It's one of the propeller aircraft. Right, so I shall switch across to the ATR. The ATR being smaller aircraft tend to get blown about a bit more. Another wobbly landing there. And also just coming into land now is a Finnair. Airbus A319 arriving from Helsinki. The air transat has reached the end of the taxiway, it's just beginning its turn to get onto the runway. For now in its One World livery, first flew in 2000, so 25-year-old aircraft. Transat first entered service in 2023. Now is a Boeing 737-800 that's going to Tenerife. This one first flew in 2010. Runway, it's ready to take off, just waiting its clearance to begin its takeoff run. Flown on Ryanair a few times and always had a good experience. Let's see if we can spot this 777 anywhere. So it's an Etihad 777. We'll just have to make do with the Dreamliner instead for now. This is a 787 Dreamliner going to Doha, Qatar Airways, which first flew earlier this year in May. Six-month-old aircraft. So then the Dreamliners come in three sizes. There's the 787-8s, 787-9s and the 787-10s. And the last number indicates the length of the vehicle. So it's heading out for the runway. Following it will be, there is a TUI over there doing something, 737. I can't see if it's actually heading for the runway or not. Could just be repositioning itself at the terminal. Again, the Dreamliner is one of my favourite aircraft. I love the noise it makes, I love the shape of it. I just think it's a pretty cool aircraft. So don't forget to let me know in the comments what your favourite aircraft is. I would love to know. The 777 has disappeared off transponder again. We are due to have the A380 within the next few minutes. It's just started it, so it's pushed back. I'll quickly show you over at the terminal. There we go, it's just behind the Ethiopian A350. You can see the tail there of the Emirates A380. And I'm pretty sure I just saw it moving, unless my eyes are playing tricks, but it is due to be departing at any moment now. It is running a little bit late. The information I have should be departing very, very shortly. So for now, let's stick with the Dreamliner. The 777 is back on the screen. Ready to depart. So they're just doing their final checkouts. should be throttling up the engines any moment. Right, so let's keep an eye out then. Back down here, so there is a TUI on its way out by the looks of it. So I think my eyes were playing tricks on me. I don't think the A380 has moved, but it is due to begin its taxi very shortly. Today's the first day that I've seen it using Terminal 2, so it'll be interesting to see the view from where I'm currently stood. On approach, we've got a Ryanair 737-800 coming from Budapest. I think the TUI was just repositioning itself. Let's have a look then at the arrivals. The A380 is now active. Turned on its transponder and it has begun its pushback. Let's take a look. So usually what happens is it has a tug attached to the front landing gear, pushes it back into its taxi position, decouples, and then the plane begins its taxi. 777 is still on the screen, so that could still come out at any moment. The 777 is running about 50 minutes late at this time, so it's could appear at any moment. So have a quick scan across to see if there is any movements that we can see. No, there's not. Well, there is, we just saw just a moment ago. We've got a Jet 2 Airbus A321neo going to Tenerife. The A350, I think that's where it's going to stay for a few minutes until the tug is decoupled and it's ready to taxi on its own engines. Okay, so this Jet 2 entered service in 2023. And is heading off to Tenerife. Just landed a moment ago is an EasyJet Airbus A320 from Belfast. So I'll stick with the Jet 2 for now, keeping an eye over at the terminals to see if there's any movements from the A380 or the 777. And as soon as there is movement, I shall switch the camera back over there. Right, it's reached the end of the taxiway, it's just beginning its turn onto the runway. So the A380 still hasn't moved from its pushback. What we do have though, by the looks of it, we've got British Airways heading out, Jet2 and a Logan Air. I don't have my radio with me today. Sometimes I can hear the chatter and I can hear what's if there's any issues with the gate or anywhere, I can usually get an understanding as to what's going on, but I don't currently have that, so I'm just waiting for the new headset to arrive. Right, so there's British Airways Airbus A320 going to London Heathrow. This particular aircraft first flew in 2002. Just behind it, we've got a Logan Air, which is an Embraer ERJ 145 EP. Going to Newquay, and then behind that is the Jet2 Airbus A321neo going to Paphos. It's a new aircraft, entered service in August this year, so a 3-month-old aircraft. Right, back over to the terminal. The A380 is now moving. So we'll get to see the Super Jumbo very, very shortly. I'll pick that up as it gets closer to the runway. But first of all, let's stick then with these 3 little aircraft. So it looks like the Logan Air is leapfrogging the British Airways. This particular aircraft first flew in 1999. Logan Air is a Scotland carrier. Off into the bush as it goes. I don't think the Jet 2 is going to leapfrog the British Airways. British Airways will be going first. It is now at the end of the runway, making its turn onto the runway to get itself lined up, ready to begin its takeoff run. To the A380. So I'll stay with this plane now. So it's taken off. This A380 is operated by Emirates. This is going to Dubai, Airbus A350-800. This particular one first flew in 2015. The Indigo Dreamliner that I've been expecting, it's been delayed. Not sure what the problem is there. Quite a few delays today, it seems. Just gone past was the Jet 2 going to Paphos, Airbus A321neo. The 777 Etihad is still not making an appearance as of yet. So I'm not sure what the problem is with that one. according to the information I have, the Etihad 777 has finally begun its pushback. Delayed by about an hour. Finally on its way. Just going past now is Ryanair going to Rome, Boeing 737 MAX 8200. On the screen as well, there's also a Dreamliner going to Cancun. So we've got a few of the larger aircraft starting to make a move. Going past in a moment or so will be a Ryanair going to Belfast, Boeing 737. Dwarfed by the monstrosity of the A380. Just behind the A380 there is a KLM. 737-800 going to Amsterdam. Taking off before the A380, but I'm going to stick with the A380. Fun fact about the A380, if you look at the rudder, it's actually got a split rudder. The top and bottom halves can move independently of each other. Okay, it's all lined up, ready to depart. Just doing the final checkouts and waiting for their clearance to depart. awesome. I like the A380, it's one of my favourites. Again, let me know in the comments what your favourites are. What your favourite aircraft is. Past, present, military, commercial. And don't forget to give the video a like if you're enjoying it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. I'd appreciate that very, very much. Okay, let's have a look then over to this side, because look what we got. We got the 777. So this 777, it is an Etihad Airways going to Abu Dhabi, Boeing 737-300 extended range. First flew in 2011. Airbus A320. I'm ready to take off. It's a Ryanair going to Murcia, Boeing 737 MAX A200, which first flew in January 2023. Just starting to pick up a bit. say that the sun is out. Got some sunshine finally. This is the Dreamliner that's heading to the runway. Let's stick with the 777, which is at the end of the taxiway, just making its turn onto the runway 05 left. Right, let's stick then with the Dreamliner. So this Dreamliner is a 7878 Dreamliner, the shorter body of the Dreamliner. Is going to Cancun, which I think is Mexico. This particular aircraft first flew in 2013. It's TUI, formerly known as Thomson's. A couple of planes on approach, Turkish Airlines and so we've got one on approach, Turkish Airlines, which hopefully we'll get to see touch down. You might miss it because of the Dreamliner, but I'm sticking with the Dreamliner. Yeah, we just missed the touchdown, but not to worry. So it's the Turkish Airlines Airbus A321neo, which has just arrived from Istanbul. We have got the Indigo Dreamliner on approach. A couple of minutes away yet. Which is the one which I was expecting earlier, but got delayed. Also, I have got an interesting video coming up soon. Next couple of days, probably Saturday actually, it'll go out. I'm going to be plane spotting at a RAF military base. So if they're flying that day, they should be. So, see what happens. But yes, that video will be on Saturday, so keep an eye out for that one. Okay, we have got on the runway a Swiss Airbus A220 going to Zurich, which first flew in 2016. Okay, let's have a look then for this Dreamliner. There we go. You see the upward curvature of the wings on the Dreamliner, which I do quite like. Dreamliner is a 7879 Dreamliner, operated by Indigo Norse. This particular aircraft first flying in 2017. Sorry about that, just had something blue on the floor then, to quickly get it. Indigo service from Mumbai. It's a recent addition to the flights here at Manchester. We are due to have A350 departing in about 10 minutes time. We were supposed to get the Junyao Dreamliner already, but that's been delayed. So it's been delayed, it's actually pushing back right now. So it looks like we'll have a Dreamliner very shortly. So this particular Junyao Air that you can see pushing back with the red tail, it's got the blossoming China livery. It's the 787 Dreamliner and it is going to Shanghai. On approach, we've got an SAS Connect Airbus A320neo from Copenhagen. That'll be arriving in a minute or so. On its way out is an ATR 72-600, the propellered aircraft. Aer Lingus Regional going to Belfast. Right, let's have a look then. There's a plane that's coming into land. once we've had this Dreamliner take off and the A350, I'm going to be packing up and calling it a day. This ATR 72-600 first flew in 2013. Okay, on its way out, looks like we've got a Finnair in the One World livery. We arrived earlier on, Airbus A319 going to Helsinki. Just arrived. I've got an ATR 72 600 Loganair from the Isle of Man. The Isle of Man is a small island in the Irish Sea, sat between England, Scotland, Wales and Ireland, Northern Ireland. Okay, so it has completed its pushback, but we're just waiting now for it to begin to taxi. NetJets Embraer Phenom 300 coming in from London. Onto the runway. Arrived. So Brussels Airlines Airbus A319. From Brussels. And next to land we have got Virgin Atlantic Airbus A330, so I'll switch to that one. A330 first flew in 2012. It's arriving from Atlanta. Making its way to the runway is the Junyao Air Dreamliner. It's going to Shanghai. First flew in 2020. This Dreamliner will be the last plane of the day. After this one, I'm going to pack up and head off. TUI is going to Asparagus, Boeing 737 MAX 8. Iceland Air Boeing 737 MAX 8 arriving from Reykjavik. First flew in 2018. Okay, so it's on the runway, just getting itself lined up. fantastic. So I'd like to just say thank you to everybody then for watching the video. Please do let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe. It'd help me out a lot. I'd really appreciate that. And have yourselves a fantastic day. Take care of yourselves. See you on the next video. Ace Planespotting out.